Hey everybody, I am Catherine Cook, Senior Director, and I am joining your group to talk about basic organization for your business. So this is one of those things that a lot of people struggle with, and so over the years, I've been doing this about 14 years now, and over the years I've kind of come up with some things that can make it a little simpler for you, make it just a little easier. I could go on about organization like all day, every day. Like that's my very favorite thing. I'm super OCD, so I love it. But I tried to break it down into some simple steps that hopefully anybody can follow. So let me go ahead and get started with you guys. So there are several main areas. There's about 5 main areas of your business that you want to remain organized in. So first up is tracking your parties and handling your hostess coaching. Because parties are the heart of our business. So, I would actually say that is probably the most important part of organization, is making sure you've got it together as far as tracking those parties, staying in touch with those hostesses, keeping them excited. So, I know this should sound like common sense, but make sure you have a written or digital calendar and planner with your hostess's name, phone number, address, and the party location. I have had gals who had it in their phones or whatever, right? And then maybe they lost their phones and they no longer have their hostess's contact information. So hopefully if you're using PureSale, that's not happening now. You can still access it. But oh my gosh, right? That would be crazy if you didn't know the hostess's address. So I personally have a written calendar where most of my party information is, but then it is also stored digitally in my phone, which is backed up regularly. So then no matter what happens, I've got a copy of my hostess's information and how to get in touch with them, all my details. So keep a calendar. As far as the hostess coaching, that is where a lot of gals struggle. They struggle with knowing what they have done for a certain hostess, and if they have I done this for her? Do I need to do this for her, etc. So part of that is you can use an app. There are certain apps that you can use, like checklist apps and stuff like that. There used to actually be hostess coaching apps. I'm not sure if those are still around, but even just a checklist app would work. Or you can use some type of check mark system in your planner. So in my calendar, for instance, I have a little check mark system at the top of each day that I have a party. And I just use little acronyms to keep track of it. So I've got FB and dash. And if I've set up their Facebook event, check, right? SDT, save date text. So if I've sent them that, check. So I have a visual representation every time I open my calendar to see what I have done for a hostess and what I still need to do for them. So that can help, is just having kind of a standard thing that you're going to do for every hostess and tracking that, like I said, either on paper or on some checklist app in your phone. Now here's something that can be really helpful if you know that your schedule is just chaotic. Set reminders in your phone to tell you when you should do certain tasks, or have a designated day that you do hostess coaching tasks. So for me, my hostess coaching happens before I even step out of bed in the morning. So I while I'm still laying in bed being lazy, I do all of my Facebook event posting, all of my texting to hostesses. That all happens before my feet even hit the floor. That's just my routine. I know that may not work for most everybody, especially if you've got one of those other JOBs. But just come up with a system that you're going to use regularly, right? So whether it be reminders in your phone that you won't ignore, ideally that's what you want. If you're going to use a reminder in phone, make sure it's one that won't go away till you acknowledge it, because it's really easy to just swipe it and forget about it. And another easy thing for you, especially because so much of us are on the go all the time and we have all this technology at our fingertips, save as much as you possibly can to your phone. And what I mean by that is organize your Facebook event pictures in an album on your phone. I know iPhones do that for certain. I'm pretty sure that Droids have it as well. So I have a folder that is just my Facebook event pictures. So that way, instead of having scrolling through my 9 million pictures when I'm going to post, I pull up that folder, bam, done. Also, like, just even if you use the notes on your phone, like, copy and paste like the things you use most often, right? Like, we constantly are saying the same things to our hostesses. We're posting the same things in our Facebook events. There's no reason to be like typing that out each time. That's just crazy. I know Droids can do it, but I don't have a Droid, I have an iPhone. Droids can do it, iPhones can do it, where you can actually save like frequently used verbiage. So like on an iPhone, it's called text replacement. And basically, like, I type up a whole shebang, and then like when I go to post, say, a picture of the lingerie in the Facebook event, I type this little shortcut, like 5 letters, and hit spacebar, and it pops up the entire text for me. So my Facebook event posting, like, I could have 20 events and it'd still take me 5 minutes or less to do it because everything is saved on my phone. So especially when you're doing multiple parties a month, like if you're just doing 1 to 2 and you have no problem tracking it, cool, right? But if you're doing like 4 to 6 to 12 or whatever, make it as easy as possible. Save it in your phone. Organize it in your phone. Okay, so here's how you can also kind of like keep track of what's happening with your parties and your income. So after every party that you do, if you're not using PureSell, if you're using PureSell, some of this is actually saved in your PureSell for you. But if you're not, this sheet right here, I know it's backwards, but it's the party profit sheet. This sheet right here is uploaded in your COO. And the party profit sheet, like, it goes through all the different things, like how much you've collected in cash and checks, how much you collected in shipping, door prizes that you gave away, right? So all of your expenses and income for your parties, bam, right here on one sheet of paper. And that's also really helpful if you're like, I don't feel like I'm making any money on my parties. Sometimes filling out a sheet like that can help you really evaluate if you are making money, and if you're not, where are you lacking, or where are you maybe spending too much? So that party profit sheet, super, super handy. And like I said, that's on the COO. I can't remember what section it's under. It's probably under like training and like running your business or something, but you can search also in the little search bar, party profit sheet. So fill that out after every single party. That also really helps you stay organized for taxes. That's something I get asked all of the time, is about taxes. People are like, what do I do? Like, I haven't kept track of anything all year long. Well, first of all, my best tip, don't do that. Keep track of it throughout the year so that in, February, you're not freaking out because you don't have any receipts and you don't even know where to start. So it's so much easier if you track it while you go, okay? There's a couple ways to do that with those party profit sheets. That helps immensely. And then there's also a monthly recap sheet. And this is one that I'll send to, I'll have this uploaded. So it's the monthly recap sheet. This is one I've had for a few years. I just updated it. This is one where you can take some of the info off that party profit sheet, as well as the information you're going to get from your receipts, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. And you keep it all in this right here. One sheet, one page. And you're going to keep it all right there. And then your tax preparer is going to love you because you're going to hand them 12 of these instead of like a shoebox full of receipts. Yay, best friends. So monthly recap sheet, I'll make sure this is uploaded. So that's really handy. But yes, your party profit sheets, the info from that's going to go on that monthly recap sheet. As far as your party profit sheets, store those. Like, I use hanging files in a file box. Like, I got it from Target or Walmart or something. Like, they're cheap. They're like $10. Plastic file box. Bought a bunch of hanging file folders off of Amazon. And I file away everything for that month monthly, right? So like my party profit sheet, I staple that to my connection cards for a party. Or if you're still using order forms, staple it to the front of the order forms. And then they get filed in each month. And then that monthly recap sheet, this guy right here, that's also going to go in an expanding file or a hanging file folder, right? So you know where it is. It's easy to track. And like I said earlier, don't procrastinate on it. I'm telling you guys, every single year, February or March, everybody's like, what do I do? What do I do? Do it all throughout the year. I promise it's so much easier and way less stressful. Okay, so as far as receipts and mileage, okay, those are huge as a business owner. Like, we want to offset as much income as we can because we're not being taxed on the income that we're bringing in. So as business owners, we want to keep track of our expenses to offset the income. So keeping track of your receipts and your mileage, super important. Now, this is everything business related, right? So that could be batteries for the toys, it's postage, it's toner for your printer, it's pins for your party. Like if you buy wine because you're doing a Wine Wednesday party, right? You're buying certain props for your team meetings, like whatever. If it's a business expense, keep track of it, okay? And then I can upload some files that have some additional information as well about like some more detailed things that you can write off. That monthly recap sheet that I showed you, that also helps keep track of that. So I recommend that you get yourself an expandable folder. Like here's mine, right? It's a little 13 tab doodad, right? Here we go. There's one for each month, you know, March, April, blah, blah, blah. And all of my receipts go in here. Bam, organized, neat. And then my monthly recap sheets would actually go in the front of each month if I was tracking them manually. I actually track mine electronically on my computer, but if you were tracking them manually, bam, put that monthly recap sheet in there, you're done. Tax preparer loves you. So, and I think that expanding file is like $5, right? Well worth the expense to get it. It keeps it organized. Now, also, in this day and age, there are so many apps that allow you to track your expenses too. So for instance, I use one called Expense Tracker, like Expense Tracker. And it's one where I organize all of my expenses in that app, including pictures of my receipts. Because here's the thing, guys, if you are storing a receipt, but sometimes those receipts over like a year or two or whatever, the ink fades and they're no longer legible. If you, for some reason you were audited, which I would say the chances are pretty slim unless you're showing like an $80,000 loss or something. But if you did, if those receipts were not legible and you did not have some electronic record of it, like proof, they wouldn't let you count it. So using something like Expense Tracker where you're snapping a picture of your receipt and organizing into your different categories, super helpful. I mean, you can even offload the data, right? So you can see it on your computer and you can put it on your monthly recap sheet or pull it for your tax preparer. So using an app for that is super helpful. Now, as far as mileage, same thing. There are tons of mileage apps out there. Like Mile IQ is one that I know a lot of people use. I can't remember. There's a couple other ones. Like if you search, just look for ones that are highly rated, that would track your mileage for you. Or here's the thing, if you're not a tech girl, that's okay too. Keep a notebook in your car, right? Take little notes about like, hey, like this day I went this many miles to this place for this reason. Because you also don't want to just have like, okay, I went 8,000 miles. Okay, well, where's your proof? Where's your log of that? That's what your tax preparer, that's what a government will ask. Do you have a written log of it? So you should. So whether it be in your phone with an app, or you're using a little notebook in your car, or you're using like a spreadsheet when you get home, like whatever it is, whatever you're going to remember to do regularly. Because again, going back and tracking your mileage from 12 months ago, really difficult. Let's see. So yeah, keep track of your mileage. Now here's something else. Like a lot of times people feel overwhelmed with like their receipts and their expenses or something. Again, designate a day of the week or the month that you do this. So like for me, almost always it happens on Tuesday, Tax Tuesday. That's when I go in, I input any mileage or update my expenses or go through my receipts or any of that. One day a week, generally because I'm doing it weekly, it takes me 5, 10, 15 minutes maybe, and bam, I'm done. I'm good. So when it comes tax time, like I'm not kidding you guys, it probably takes me 30 minutes maybe to pull together all the information I need for my taxes. Even just little steps like this can really, really be helpful. Okay, so just don't let it follow up. And it doesn't have to be a huge, overwhelming thing. Just take little baby steps, like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, whatever. Okay, here's another really big thing that a lot of people struggle with. I could do a whole nother video on this and the next one, both. Follow up, all right? Follow up. You have to have a follow-up system. Your word is your bond in this business. Like, what is it that's going to set you apart from all other home-based business owners or all other even pure romance consultants, right? Like, what's going to set you apart? A couple of things. Number one, follow up when you say you're going to. Honestly, people all the time, they're like, how do you get so many like outside orders, or how do you get so many people that rebook with you all the time? Like, and it's because I follow up. Like, I've always been a consistent follow-up person. If I tell you I'm going to follow up in 3 months, I make a note and I follow up in 3 months. It's just something, like, it's good business practice. So a couple easy ways to do it, right? Like, you can use a paper tracking system. That's what I've actually done for years. I was showing some of the leaders, like, my tracking sheets, and I actually have them back from when I started in 2004. So I have 14 years worth of tracking sheets that I have kept, and just continually like update. You want your tracking system to be easily portable, right? So whether it's in a notebook or on a tracking sheet like this one, okay, this will also get uploaded. This is a tracking sheet I created just in Excel. And basically, I just write down, how I met the person, their name and number, how I met them, what happened each time I contacted them, right? So, like, I left them a message, or I texted them, or I Facebook messaged them, or they said they're getting married, call them in 2 months. Like, whatever. I write that stuff in here, and then here, like, I write in special notes, right? Like, because that happens all the time, right? Say it's November, and somebody says, I really want to book a party, but I just can't do it till after the first of the year. Okay, well, so then maybe I put a little note over here that says January. So I know that I'm going to follow up with her in December to get her booked in January. So I have a set of these for party leads and a set of these for consultant leads. So, and obviously I use multiple things in each box, right? They're just there to keep it organized, but like I might have 5 different contact attempts in one little box. So this is one way to do it. Even just a notebook is another way to do it. Also, like, electronic reminders. Again, we have the technology, use it. So set up reminders in your phone or in your calendar. And again, it's a good idea to make it where you, like, it doesn't just go away. You have to dismiss it, so you're being cognizant of it. Also, something that is really, really helpful is if you have a designated day each week. So, for instance, for me, all follow-up and all reservicing almost always happens on Wednesdays. That's just the day that I've designated to do it. If for some reason, like, I'm traveling or whatever on Wednesday, I don't do it, cool. Then I'll do it on Tuesday or Thursday. But almost every single week, you'll find me following up and reservicing on Wednesday. That's just the day that I do it. And that way, every Wednesday, I don't even have to think about it. I just know that's follow-up day. So having just like a designated day or time can really be helpful. And guys, I'm telling you again, your word is your bond. Follow up when you say you're going to follow up. If somebody asks you to check back with them in 2 days, check back with them in 2 days, not in 2 weeks, right? Like, it's just part of being a business owner is like following up when you say you're going to. Because in this day and age, it just really follow up is a thing that's hugely lacking. Set yourself apart. You'll be way more successful as a business owner. Okay, and then the last big topic is reservicing. So honestly, I started reservicing regularly, probably, 6 or 7 years ago or something. And I could kick myself for not having reserviced regularly before that, because I can guarantee you I get way more parties, way more web orders, way more consultants because I reservice religiously. I mean, think about it, guys. I know, like, you maybe get emails or whatever from Target, right? They're like, here's the sale. But do they, like, reach out to you? Like, in a couple days and say like, hey, thanks for shopping with us. And then like maybe 2 weeks later, they say, hey, how are you liking that stuff you bought from us? And then like maybe right before 60 days has passed, do they say, you know, is everything working okay? Is everything good? No, Target doesn't do that. So set yourself apart, like give personal customer service. They'll love you forever. Your clients will be incredibly loyal. Honestly, I really, truly feel that's one of the reasons I have such a large client base. And I'd be a millionaire if I'd done it the whole 14 years. So, you know, shoot myself in the head for not doing it. So here's the thing as far as reservicing. You can do it via text or via phone. Like back in the day, everybody did it via phone. Nowadays, of course, most people do it via text. I do it via text. So, you know, look for group texting apps on your phone. Droids have them, iPhones have them. You just want to make sure that they don't show as a group message and that there's no reply to all. So there are different apps that do that. So just here are my tips for that. Read the specifics of your app and make sure you pay attention to any settings that you might have to change in your phone. So for instance, the app I use on iPhone is called Group Text, and it definitely, you have to change a couple of settings in your phone for it to be effective for you. I'm sure the Droid one that I know of is called Mighty Text. I'm sure there's some others too, but read the FAQs, like read the thing. That way you know that you're being the most effective with it. I have yet to, with an iPhone at least, be able to send pictures in group messages. I have not found a way to do that without everybody being able to say it is a group message. So if somebody has an iPhone and knows how to do that, cool, let me know. I think Droids are able to do it, so yay for Droids. But just be careful, test it with some people first before you start sending like picture messages as groups. Ideally, your app lets you schedule text for future dates, right? Because then it's less off of your mind because you schedule it right then. Like all of my reservicing texts get scheduled when I'm writing like my thank you note to my hostess and finishing out my party profit sheet. Like all of my text reservicing gets scheduled at that moment. So it's scheduled. The reservicing is also really important. I mentioned 60 days earlier. So we do have a 60-day warranty against defects with Pure Robots. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. So that is something you want to let them know about because number one, they love you. They love you because if for some reason they broke their toy, I mean, ideally if they snapped it in half, right? Warranty's not going to cover that. But say like something's shorting out. They have a toy and it's just not working properly. Remind them before that 60-day warranty is up because they may forget to contact you. And again, it's so rare that some other retailer contacts me and says, hey, you know, your warranty is about up. Is everything okay? No, I have to track that myself. So set yourself above everyone else by contacting them before it expires. Basically, I mean, your clients just think you're awesome. Okay. I mean, it's that simple. They think you're awesome. They love you. They're more likely to come back to you. Also, if you're staying in touch with them with reservicing, it makes it less like strange or awkward feeling when you follow up with them later about like a sale that you're having or to ask them about booking a party or becoming a consultant. It's not like it's been like radio silence for 6 months and then you're like, hey, want to book a party? I mean, if you've been reservicing them, they've heard from you a few times during that 6 months. So it's not like you're just like totally like some weirdo who's just texting them out of the blue, right? They have a little bit of a relationship with you. Same thing, have a designated day of the week that you reservice, you know, or a designated time that you reservice. Again, I mentioned earlier for me, that's Wednesdays, all follow-up, all reservicing, Wednesdays. Do what works for you. Here are the key things to remember. I know I just gave you guys tons of info. Having any system in place is better than having no system. So my systems may not work for you. Totally okay. Having a system in place though that works for you will benefit you so much. Even if it's not my system, find one that works and do it. I mean, yeah, it's just don't have no system because that makes it really stressful for you. Also, something that you can do, make yourself a daily or a weekly to-do list. And then you reward yourself when you complete all of your tasks. So like I work on weekly to-do lists. For some people that might be overwhelming, but for me, like the beginning of each week, I sit down and I write out all of the things that need to happen in the next 7-day period. And I prioritize them too. So like the things that have to get done go at the top, and then like my little superfluous things kind of go down towards the bottom. So I do it weekly. There are other people who do it daily. And if that works better for you, cool, do it daily. And it doesn't have to be like huge and overwhelming. Like even if it's 5 tasks a day that you're setting yourself to do, 3 tasks a day, whatever. Like having a to-do list will help keep you on track. It is that simple, and it'll ensure that you don't miss things. Now, and here's the key. If you're saying, I'm super overwhelmed, I just don't have this large chunk of time to set aside to work on these business tasks, right? You don't have to. Find 15 minutes a day that you can work on stuff, or 30 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week, right? Like most of you, if you have a real job, right? Like you probably have breaks or a lunch break. Use that time to do all of this stuff. So that way when you're home, you get to be home. Or like schedule yourself with, you're going to do it for 15 minutes after the kids go to bed, whatever. The most important thing is that you're making the time. Really the most important thing right there. So, okay. That is everything off of my list. As far as a brand new consultant, if your mind is like reeling right now, just know again, like that is 14 years worth of like, trying things and perfecting things. So take what you can use, leave the rest until another time. Totally cool. And every consultant's going to be a little bit different with what their to-do list looks like, right? So say you're a brand new consultant. As a brand new consultant, your to-do list might look like complete who do you know list and reach out to 5 people off of the who do you know list and become familiar, study 3 products in your starter kit, practice booking activity. Those are all things like for a new consultant. So it doesn't have to be like big, huge things, right? Because you're not reservicing or anything at this point. But keep track of like the things that you need to do to keep yourself on track to kick off your business to a great start. And once you're established, you'll know the things that need to be on your to-do list. Like I said, whether it's going to be hostess coaching or keeping up with your business expenses, or like if you have a team, like reaching out to your team on a regular basis, doing team recognition, all of that stuff. Like all of that kind of stuff goes on my to-do list so that I have some idea of what I'm doing every week and then I don't feel like I've dropped the ball. So I think that's it. Like I said, I could probably go on for hours and this has already been a really lengthy video. So I hope that helps. I will make sure that the forms I talked about are uploaded. So there's easy access to those. And also, like, if you have questions about, like, some of the iPhone stuff that I talked about, you can certainly reach out to me. I admittedly know very little about Droid apps, so that would be a way better thing to, like, post about. And I'm sure somebody can give you a way better answer than me. But hit me up if you have any questions. I really hope that it helps. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch today. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Happy weekend.